Good morning, everyone. It's our pleasure to have with us Dr. Satish Kumar. Sir is Principal Scientist, ICR DMR Solan, HP. And the topic chosen by Sir for deliberation is insects, mite, and nematode pests of mushrooms. Sir, you are audible as well as visible. Also, your presentation is visible, and the session recording has been started. Please start, sir.
Okay, good morning. Uh, Biotic actually topic assigned to me was stresses on mushrooms. Now you see biotic stress is a very big topic, and I have divided this stress into two portions. One is insect pests, mites, nematodes, and another one is diseases. That is diseases, computer molds, bacterial disease, viral disease. And for that topic, I have requested Dr. Anil. Probably he will be covering. Now, coming to insect pests, and you know that during different phases of crop production, a large number of insect pests, mites and nematodes are encountered, which take the heavy toll of the crop every year. Now, among the different insect pests, cereid flies, phorid flies, springtails, mites, and nematodes are the major pests throughout the world. Now, you see the indoor nature of crop, short duration, and residue problem limits the scope of this liberal application of pesticide. Although there is no pesticide which has a level claim to be used on the mushrooms, but still we are using as a prophylactic measures for controlling these pests. Our our efforts should be at initial stage to prevent the entry of these pests into the cropping rooms, rather than relying upon some pesticides in later stages. Once these pests enter into the cropping room, then it becomes very difficult to control them. Now coming to first pest, that is cereid fly. This is very small fly, just the size of mosquito, and this is a very small fly, just the size of mosquito, and single female lays 100 to 150 eggs, either say during spawning or during casing or during cropping itself. Now, depending upon the prevailing climatic conditions, that is temperature and humidity, the eggs will hatch out within 5 to 7 days. Now, after hatching, if there is no spawn run, then these larvae will start feeding on the compost itself. As a result, pH of the compost changes, which ultimately hampers the spawn run. Now, at the pinhead formation stage, these larvae will feed on the mushroom mycelium as well as on the small pinheads. In case of bigger mushroom, they tunnel through this type, and if you cut the mushroom in cross section, you will observe 8 to 10 larvae feeding inside the cave. And in case of oyster mushroom, they will feed in between the gill lines. Now, adult fly act as a vector of all the mushroom diseases, say wet bubble, dry bubble, cobweb, and competitor molds, green mold, brown plaster mold, white plaster mold, and like that. Now, here you can see sometimes population of these flies in the cropping room increases at such a high level that these flies will create nuisance to the workers. Here you can see in the slides, the small flies are sitting on the root body of this white button mushroom. Here, these are the larvae of this cereid fly. It is up to 5 mm in length, and just notice that head is black in color. This is for identification of this larvae. And this is the single larvae. Just observe the head; it is black in color. And another fly is phorid fly. This is a very small fly, moves with the jerky movement on the walls, and single female lays 50 to 70 eggs, either during, say, spawning, casing, or during cropping itself. And adults also act as a vector of all the mushroom diseases and competitor molds. And there are 4 major species of this phorid fly. Here you can see the Megacelia hirtata and Megacelia amniodensis. feeding on the mushroom fruit bodies. These are the larvae of this chorrid fly. Here you can see the head is pointed and there is blunt. In case of cereid fly, head was black in color, but here in this case it is pointed. And larvae are feeding on the mushroom mycelium. This is the mixed population of both chorrid and cereid fly larvae. You can see larvae are feeding on the mushroom mycelium. Yes, here you can see this is the picture of single mushroom bag. Here you can see the larvae feeding on the casing. Lot of larvae are visible on the casing. And at this stage, if you apply some insecticide, of course, these larvae will be killed out. But at the same time, growth of mushroom will be hampered for next 5 to 7 days. There will be no mushroom cleaning or no mushroom growth. This is the larvae of chorrid fly, head is pointed. Here you can see this slide was sent to me by some mushroom grower from West Bengal. Spawner is taking place nicely. At this stage, that mushroom grower observed some insects in the bed and he sprayed some insecticide. And after 8 to 10 minutes of spraying insecticide, all the mushroom mycelium vanished from the wheat beds. That means that insecticide was toxic to mushroom mycelium and killed all the mushroom mycelium on the wheat grain. And ultimately, he has to do respawning of the compost. Here you can see no mushroom mycelium, only wheat grain is left. This is the damage by larvae of chorrid fly. You can see holes all over the fruit bodies. And if you cut these mushroom in cross section, you will observe larvae of chorrid flies feeding inside the mushroom fruit body. This is the damage caused by the larvae of chorrid fly. Stipe is completely eaten out, and this is the damage caused by the mushroom fruit body. All fruit body is eaten out by the larvae of these chorrid flies. This is another symptom, blackening of stipe. This may be due to attack by these saprophytic nematodes. And after attacking feeding by saprophytic nematodes, then secondary invasion of this saprophytic bacteria is there. That's why stipe is turning black in color. Here you can see this is the single fruit body of Macrolepiota. Chorrid flies are sitting on the cape, and below, just below the fruit body, you can see the peanuts. All peanuts are dead due to feeding by the larvae of these chorrid flies. Now, as far as management is concerned, generally we follow two types of measures. One is preventive measures, second is curative measure. Preventive measures, under preventive measures, hygiene and sanitation, that is most important in any mushroom farm. Maintenance of proper hygiene and sanitation in and around the farm is very important. Then treatment of compost and casing material, if it is being prepared by long method of composting. Screening of doors and ventilator. Doors and ventilator of mushroom house should be screened thoroughly with nylon nets of 35 to 40 mesh in size. Then use of light trap. I will be showing light trap in next slide. Then proper disposal of spent compost after taking the growth. That is, spent compost should be disposed of properly away from the farm, probably in some pit, and cover it with soil, layer of soil. This is the yellow light trap. Here we have used 0-watt yellow colored bulb, and below which we hang the polythene sheet of any size coated with some sticky material. Here we use this.
Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Everybody else, please mute. Sir, continue.
Okay. Here we have for this coating, we have used this mustard oil because it is available easily in every household. We have coated this bulb is switched on during the evening hours, and next day you will observe that flies are sticking to this polythene sheet, and by using this method one can assess the population of the flies into the cropping room, and without using any chemical, so much flies can be controlled. Now presently here at DMR, as well as bigger mushroom units, we are using this UV fly catcher. The only thing is you have to place it at a height of 4 to 5 feet. If you place it on the floor, then it will not work against mushroom flies. We have to keep it at a height of 4 to 5 feet. Only then it acts as attractant to these mushroom flies. Then this is another species of phorid fly, that is Comedelia falciparum. Here you can see the adult larvae and pupae with thoracic horns, and this fly remains in the cropping room throughout the year. I mean, it becomes very difficult to control these flies once they enter into the cropping rooms. Now, as far as these curative measures are concerned, here we are using some insecticide in rotation. For example, first time we are using this malathion 0.01%, and second time we will use this dichlorobos, third time we will use this dasis. I mean in rotation. Single insecticide should not be used continuously, otherwise flies will develop the resistance. Here we are not advocating to use these insecticides on the bags, but only on the walls, floor, galleries, and in and around the mushroom houses. And if there is need to apply some insecticide, then we are using this dichlorobenzidone. These are insect growth regulators. At the time of casing, immediately after casing, or in between the flush break, not during the cropping. If you use this insecticide on the beds during cropping room, then it will hamper the growth of mushrooms, and mushrooms will show adverse effect by turning yellow in color and like that. That means accumulation of poison is there in the mushroom food bodies, and that food bodies cannot be consumed. Here you can see another insect, that is sessid. Observe the slide carefully. This larvae is giving birth to 8 to 10 larvae. This is known as pedogenesis, and in this case, adults are not required for the reproduction. Now, larvae within its 8 to 10 days of its own birth will act as a mother larvae, and it will produce 8 to 10 larvae. Likewise, the next larvae will become the mother larvae, and it will produce 8 to 10 larvae. Like that, they will spread very rapidly, and population increases at a very fast rate. These are the sessids in the mushroom beds. Here you can see this was the complete spontan bag of oyster mushroom, and after some time, attack of this sessids occurred, and within 3 to 4 days, whole mycelium vanished from the mushroom bag, and only wheat straw was left. This is the case of damage by these sessid flies. This is, here you can see the shiitake mushroom. This is shiitake mushroom damaged by the acid larvae, and then secondary invasion by the saprophytic bacteria, due to which the cave is turning black in color, and it will start rotting. Now, as far as management of this sessid is concerned, Sudol. Sudol is a simple phenyl compound, phenyl dicarbonate, such phenyl which are being used in household for white. Sudol is like a phenyl. And if you suspect that sessid may be there, before placing the bags into the cropping room, floor should be washed with this, any phenyl compound. Then these insecticides has been applied only experimentally, but we are not advocating to use in the mushroom beds. For example, this pendimethalin at the rate of 1 gram AI per meter square to beds, surface immediately after spawning and before casing. If you suspect sessids are there, then preparing diazonium granules at the rate of 50 ppm. Now next insect is springtails. These are microscopic, and Springtails damage mushroom food bodies as well as this. They eat out the mushroom mycelium sticking to the palm grains, and after 2 to 3 days, only wheat grain is left. And in case of oyster mushroom, they will create holes all over the fruit bodies. And here you can see the population of springtails, very small insect. They will feed on the mushroom mycelium also as well as on the fruit bodies. This is the deformity caused to milky mushroom by these springtails. As far as management of these springtails are concerned, hygiene and sanitation is very important. Proper pasteurization of compost and casing material should be there. Now raising crop above the floor level, I mean crop should be placed in, bags should be placed on the racks. This infection of composting yard and empty growing rooms with 0.05% malathion if you suspect that springtails may be there. Then mixing diazonone 30 ppm in compost at the time of filling. And if you are using this dicolobos or malathion, then waiting period of 2 to 5 days is required. That means one cannot consume that mushroom for 2 to 5 days. Now another pest, that is mushroom mites. Generally we encountered 52 types of mites during the mushroom cultivation. Say during spawn running time, when temperature is 23 to 24 degrees centigrade, then those mites will venture into the beds which feed on the mushroom mycelium only. And during cropping, say 16 to 80 degree temperature, those mites will attack the beds which feed on the mushroom fruit bodies. They will tunnel through the stab, they will eat out the mushroom fruit caves. And this is mushroom mite. Here you can see mites feeding on the at the junction of this type and cave. This is the Phoraceae by mites. This is phorid fly, and here you can see the mites collecting into the body of the phorid fly. The fly will come from outside, carrying mites into the cropping room, and when it sits on some bags, mites will land at that bags and start multiplying. This is red pepper mite. Here you can see the mites are sitting in a colonial form in colonies. If you blow gently on these mites, they will move another side of the mushroom and place where they were sitting earlier. It will turn black in color or brown in color. That means quality of mushroom is reduced. In this slide, all mushroom bed is infected by this red pepper mite. And at this stage, if you apply some acaricide, of course mites will be killed, but at the same time, it will hamper the growth of mushrooms. There will be no mushroom for 4 to 5 days. And at the same time, residue of this acaricide will be observed in the fruit bodies. Here you can see the mites during spawn stage feeding in between the bags, and they will eat out the complete mycelium. And at this stage, it becomes very difficult to control these mites because they will feed inside the bag, in between the bag, and one cannot use insecticide, acaricide inside the bag. And the problem is these mites will never come up to the surface, and ultimately 80% loss is there. Now, as far as management is concerned, proper pasteurization of compost and casing material is very important because there are certain species of mites which can survive the pasteurization temperature, say 58 to 59 degrees centigrade. Then this infection of mushroom houses by 0.01% dicopone. If you suspect mites may be there, then burning of sulfur in the empty cropping rooms before placing the bags, and doors and ventilators should be closed for 3 to 4 hours. Now cook out at 71 degrees centigrade for 2 hours. Or cook out, we raise the temperature of the cropping room with the help of steam up to 71 degrees centigrade before disposing of the bags after taking crop. And By raising temperature up to 71, 72 degrees centigrade, all the immature stages of insect pest and diseases will be killed in the cropping room itself. Otherwise, if you dispose of without treating these bags, it will become a breeding ground for the mushroom insect pest and inoculum source for these diseases. Proper disposal of spent compost and diazonon 20 EC or dicophol in mushroom beds during the flush break, not during the cropping. Now another problem is, this is the pest of oyster mushroom only, beetles. Beetles as well as grubs, both damage the oyster mushroom badly, and once they enter into the cropping room, then it becomes very difficult to control the beetles, because when you apply some insecticide, they will hide inside in between the substrate, and after when you stop spraying, then they will come out and again start feeding. For this prevention of these beetles, doors should be screened properly, and industrial blinds can be used for the preventing entry of these beetles into the cropping room. Our next problem is nematodes, mushroom nematodes. There are 22 types of nematodes which are encountered during the mushroom cultivation. Now, as far as further classification is concerned, generally we encountered 3 types of nematodes. One is Myceliophagus, which feeds on the mushroom mycelium. Second is saprophytic, which feeds on the composting material. And third is predatory, which feeds on the premature stages of insect pest. But how to identify during the cropping? It becomes very difficult to identify these nematodes. And in case of these Myceliophagus nematodes, they have a needle-like stylet in their mouth, and they move this stylet to and fro very rapidly, and also secrete some enzymes which help in the dissolution of cell wall. And with the help of stylet, they suck the cell content. And population of these nematodes increases very rapidly, say 70 to 100-fold during spawn running time. That means temperature at the temperature of 23 to 25 degrees centigrade. This is mushroom nematode. And at the bottom slide, you can see nematodes feeding on the mushroom mycelium inside the beds. Now, since nematodes are microscopic, now some of the symptoms of nematode attack are mycelial growth is sparse and patchy, composed surface sinks, whiteness of spawn run slowly changes to brown, flushes are poor and delayed, alternate high and poor yield, decline in yield, and complete of failure. These are some of the symptoms of nematode attack. As far as management is concerned, now strict hygiene and sanitation is very important. Disinfection of all the equipments used in the farm with 2% formalin is very important. Now composting ingredients should be stored in a clean area. Proper pasteurization of compost and casing material is very important. Use of clean water. Control of insect pests, because insect pests also act as a vector of these nematodes. Effective cookout. Cookout means that raising the temperature up to 71 degrees centigrade for 2 hours with the help of steam boilers. Then earlier they were using Furadon 3G at final compost turning, but now this pesticide has been banned. And further, thiazide at the rate of 30 ppm can be used for the control of nematodes. As far as biological methods are concerned, some people are using the incorporation of dried leaf of Exotica indica, that is neem, Cannabis sativa, Eucalyptus territorialis at the rate of 3 kg per 100 kg of straw. Now, some people are using this neem cake at the rate of 5% on bed-to-bed basis. Then rotation. Rotation means once you are taking this button mushroom, next time you will go for oyster, third time pedistra, fourth time milky, fifth time shiitake, like that. These are some of the nematode trapping fungi used in European countries, that is Orthobotis oligospora, Ascorba elegans, and Candelaria musiformis. These are nematode trapping fungi which can be used in the compost. Then another problem, these are snails. This is the problem of snails generally enter into the cropping rooms, and particularly in case of seasonal cultivation. For controlling snails, one should dust either common salt or this lime at the entry point for controlling these snails. They feed on the mushrooms badly. Then slugs, these are pest of oyster mushroom. They feed on the pest of the shiitake mushroom. They feed on the blocks of shiitake as well as on the fruit bodies. Here you can see the fruit body is completely eaten out by these slugs, and particularly slugs enter into the cropping during rainy season. For controlling them, doors and ventilators should be closed properly. When rats enter into the cropping room to eat out the spawn grains, and in this process they disturb the beds badly, and sometimes they feed on the mushroom fruit bodies also. For controlling rats, one should use this rat repellents, because these bats, poison bats cannot be used into the mushroom houses because of this edible nature and short duration of crop. But repellents can be used effectively for the control of these rats. These were some of the biotic stresses on this insect pests, like insect pests, mites, nematodes, springtails, snails, slugs. These generally, after 2 to 3 months of this cropping, these biotic stress can be observed in seasonal farms. But in controlled units, these two flies, phorid flies and cereal flies, are major biotic stresses. And here I will stop, and I request, I will take 5 minutes break, and I will request Dr. Anil if he is there. Otherwise, I will be covering these diseases also. Any questions, please? Questions, doubts?
Any questions, any queries you have, please ask right now.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Sir, in my farming room, there was a green mold.
Uh-huh.
So, what we can do for it?
That is for controlling green molds. Generally, we use this carbendazim or this thiophenate methyl. Green mold, if sugar source is there, starch source is there, only only then green mold will invade. Otherwise, the proper hygiene and sanitation is maintained, substrate is prepared properly, then there will be no problem with this green mold.
Thank you.
Namaskar, sir. I am Satyajit Mahapatra. Sir, I have few queries. First, the query is that since we are seasonal growers and we used to cultivate oyster, milky button, king oyster, and now for Wolveria and Shiitake, Resium is also we are trying to do in this year. My question is that as our substrate after sterilization, it is or in case of button after composting, it is sprayed on the open field to release some moistures. In case of a button, to release the ammonia rest in that compost. In that cases, it may some flies which are usually restricted in the mushroom farming, they used to sit on that substrate and lay eggs. But in case of button, we after releasing the ammonia, we used to go for the sterilization. But in case of oyster and milky, we generally spreads the substrate after sterilization. Then is there possibilities to have the insect or worm attack in that substrate? Because some farmers used to call us that they have gone through the sterilization and made bags, and thereafter they found that some insects are there. So what is your recommendation, sir?
Sir, actually, in case of this button mushroom, during composting, one can observe lot of insects sitting on the compost, raw compost. But those flies are not the pest of but on mushrooms. They are generally dung flies or coffin flies, and in subsequent turning, they will be killed out. And as far as you are talking about the spreading the substrate after sterilization, I think if moisture content is optimum, that is 64 to 65%, then there is no need to spread the substrate. The mushroom
if there is need of spreading substrate, then what are the preventive measures we should take?
As far as preventing, if you spread the substrate, there will be no flies. Mushroom flies will not attack the substrate. They will enter into the cropping only if there is mushroom mycelium, because they are attracted to the smell of the mushroom mycelium or mushroom. And during substrate preparation, if there is no mycelium or no mushroom, there will be no problem of this insect pest. They are general flies, say dung flies, or coffin flies, or other flies. They will sometimes sit on the beds, but they will not create any problem to the mushrooms.
Okay, sir. Then my second query is that the flies, as you told about the cecid flies, phorid flies, sclerid flies, all these flies comes under the herbivorous insects or carnivorous insects?
Sir, herbivorous, carnivorous, they are much pest of mushrooms, and carnivorous means they will feed on some animals. Herbivores means they feed on this grasses and all that. These flies are actually feeders of this compost. Generally, these flies can be observed sometimes in greenhouses also, because rotting material is there. In wild, if you see some mushrooms are growing in the wild, these mushrooms will attack, these flies will attack those mushrooms, and they will eat out those mushrooms. Any substance, organic substance which is rotting, they will enter into this. As far as there are more than 150 species of the phorid flies, some will feed on these mushrooms. And in public toilets, you have, so as the temperature is rising, you can observe the flies in the public toilets flying. Those are also phorid flies, but they will not attack the mushrooms.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Mr. Mandu, please carry on.
Hello, sir.
Andy, Andy.
Sir, you told that before starting the cropping, we should disinfect the cropping room with formalin solution with 2%. So is it sufficient for disinfection, 2%?
2% is a very high concentration, because generally we treat the room before placing the base 1 to 2 days earlier by spraying 2% formalin, and keep the doors and ventilator closed for 2 to 3 days. And after that, after treating the bags in the room, only then we place the bags into the cropping room. Formalin is not used during the cropping period, and if you use excess formalin during cropping, then it will invite the green mold. There will be more incidence of green mold.
How should it make it? Sir, कैसे करना है सर? Solution कैसे बनाना है?
फॉर्मेलिन 2% सोल्यूशन बनाने के लिए 1 लीटर पानी में 50 ml फॉर्मेलिन जाता है, दैट इज 2% फॉर्मेलिन. 1 लीटर वाटर में 50
I can't hear it, sir.
Any other question, please?
आवाज नहीं आ
सर
रही है।
सर एक बार और बोलिए बोलिए सर एक बार।
1 लीटर पानी में 50 ml फॉर्मेलिन डालेंगे तो वो 2% फॉर्मेलिन बन जाता है, क्योंकि 37 पॉइंट कुछ स्ट्रेंथ का फॉर्मेलिन आता है मार्केट में। एंड इफ यू
Yeah.
eat 50 ml in 1 liter
Yeah.
of water, then it will become a 2% formalin.
ओके सर, ओके, थैंक यू। ओके
Good afternoon, sir.
1 लीटर पानी में 50 ml फॉर्मेलिन ऐड करेंगे, that is 2% formalin.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
हाँ जी,
सर आपको सुनाई दे रहा है?
हाँ बोलिए।
ओके सर, मैं गुवाहाटी से सुनीत तालुकदार बोल रहा था।
हाँ हाँ
सर मेरा 2 क्वेरीज है सर।
हाँ,
सर मतलब मैं जानना चाहता हूँ कि सर फॉर फ्यूमिगेशन पर्पस हम
हाँ
रूम
जी,
में जब फ्यूमिगेट करते हैं सर, हम
हाँ।
लोग हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड यूज कर सकते हैं?
हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड कुछ लोग जो ऑयस्टर ग्रो करते हैं वो लोग यूज करते हैं, क्योंकि वो कहते हैं हाइड्रोजन, इफ यू यूज हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड, जो ऑयस्टर में स्पोर्स का प्रॉब्लम रहता है, एक्सेसिव स्पोर्स का, वो स्पोर्स बनने कम हो जाते हैं,
ओके
वो लोग
सर।
यूज करते हैं। कुछ लोग सबस्ट्रेट प्रिपरेशन के लिए आप हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड यूज कर सकते हैं, पर थोड़ा मेरे ख्याल से हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड इज कॉस्टली वेंचर देन एज कंपेयर टू फॉर्मेलिन।
ओके सर, मतलब फॉर्मुलिन में वो जो फ्यूम्स होता है इट्स वेरी थोड़ा बहुत प्रॉब्लम होता है तो।
प्रॉब्लम थोड़ा बहुत नहीं होता है, अगर आप एक्सेसिव फॉर्मेलिन यूज करेंगे इट इज कार्सिनोजेनिक।
ओके एंड सर माय सेकंड क्वेरी इज दैट सर वही हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड को लेकर ही जब हम लोग रूम में फॉगिंग करते हैं
हाँ
वो फॉगर जो मशीन होता है सर, उस
हाँ
नॉर्मल पानी के साथ डाइल्यूटेड अगर हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड यूज कर देंगे तो
हाँ,
ये फ्लाई का कंटामिनेशन में कुछ हेल्प हो सकता है सर?
बिल्कुल नहीं हो सकता। अगर आप सोचेंगे कि फॉर्मेलिन और हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड से फ्लाइज मरेंगे, तो वो बिल्कुल नहीं मरेंगे। एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ आपको। गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हर साल मस्कीटो और डेंगू कंट्रोल करने के लिए करोड़ों रुपए खर्च करती है, लेकिन वो तो अभी भी है।
ओके, थैंक यू सर।
Hello, sir.
हाँ जी,
Sir, what will be the quantity of hydrogen peroxide added?
हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड नॉर्मली 1% से ज्यादा, नॉट मोर देन 1%।
Sir, 1% means 1 liter water में?
मतलब 1 लीटर वाटर में आप 2 से 3 ml यूज कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि ये हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड एक्चुअली में इट इज स्टरलाइजर, ये स्टरलाइज करता है सरफेस को और कुछ नहीं करता है। इनमें अगर आपने इन केस यू हैव attended this lecture on this spawn production, for that, in that case you must have observed that for sterilization of mushroom food bodies before taking tissue culture, they use hydrogen peroxide to wipe out the food bodies so that it can be sterilized thoroughly.
ओके सर, सर आपने जस्ट अभी अभी वो स्टेरिलाइजेशन मतलब क्या बोलूं, स्पॉन बनाने के लिए जो मशरूम को स्टेरिलाइज करते हैं उसके लिए जो आपने बोला ऑप्शन, सर जितना तक एज फार आई नो, आई मीन मतलब जितना कुछ मैंने वीडियो देखा हूँ वहां पे मेजोरिटी मैंने देखा हूँ सर अल्कोहल से करते हैं। तो सर मतलब हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड एंड अल्कोहल सर मतलब दोनों ही इफेक्टिव है, मतलब सेम?
हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड, फिर एक और बताता हूँ, मर्क्यूरी क्लोराइड भी है, उसको भी यूज करते हैं। है तो बहुत सारे हैं, पर ये है कि मिलेंगे कहाँ।
हाँ।
Good afternoon, sir. I am Dr. Berwa from Ganganagar.
हाँ जी हाँ जी।
सर फ्लाइज को कंट्रोल करने के लिए क्या अपन नीम ऑयल भी यूज ले सकते हैं क्या?
नीम के प्रोडक्ट्स आते हैं बहुत सारे, नीम प्रोडक्ट्स जैसे नीम जीवन है, नीम ऑयल है, दैट कैन बी यूज्ड एज ए फ्लाई रिपेलेंट। अगर आप स्प्रे कर देते हैं क्रॉपिंग रोज में बैगों के ऊपर,
जी
वो will it will act as a repellent. वो flies को आने नहीं देगा फिर.
जी सर, थैंक यू सर.
Okay.
Sir, does neem oil has any side effects on the mycelium?
नहीं जी नहीं. No side effect. Sikkim people are using this neem products only because it is an organic state or mushroom
Yes,
cultivation.
sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I will take a break of 5 minutes, and if Dr. Anil is available, then he will continue. Otherwise, if he is not there, then I will be coming back. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Shall we left?
No, he's going to come back for after 5 minutes.
Majid sir, good afternoon.
Yeah, please.
Sir, yesterday I was really interested in attending that shiitake cultivation mushroom by Dr. Deswan, but then I couldn't because I was not allowed. So what was the reason, sir, behind that yesterday?
Why were you not allowed?
Sir, I don't know. I was not allowed to join.
See, I'll make it clear for everyone.
Yes, sir.
We send the link to the group so that everyone can join. Also, we'll send an invitation via your email. Once you click on the email link, you don't need to get accepted. If you click on the WhatsApp link, since your email is not linked, so you may need to be accepted, or that someone needs to allow you to come to the this session. Otherwise, we send the link and we accept all of the people. We only remove people who do not mute themselves, which is once you have joined and somebody does not mute their microphone, and after repeated let's say intimations that people do not mute their microphone, we remove in that very scenario. Or their camera is not off and they are not in an office environment, then we remove. Why? For security reasons and for privacy reasons. Why? Because this video is going to be uploaded to YouTube, so we don't want any issues with the privacy of people if they do not take care of that. So we request all the participants to be in an office environment if they are keeping their cameras on. Otherwise, turn off your cameras because this video is going to be uploaded to YouTube. And when you join, please join while you have your microphone on mute. That is the only requirement. We do not remove people unless and until they violate these rules, or we accept all the requests by the people. I don't know what has happened at the time you tried to join, but we accept all the requests. And I'm sorry that. Yeah,
Majid sir,
and one
good
more
morning,
thing.
good morning, sir.
That section would be also available on YouTube soon. We are uploading. In fact, today
Majid
only
sir,
we are started uploading again.
Majid sir, can I ask a doubt, sir?
Sure.
Sir, this is Noor Nawaz from Dharwad Agriculture University. Sir,
So
I am
you're asking
attending.
why, because sir has
Yes, sir.
already left. If you're asking it to me, then please let me know.
Yes, sir. No, Majid sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Sure, please let me know.
Sir, I am attending most of the sessions in my mobile only, sir, because laptop is not accessible. Sometimes there are some technical issues. Due to that, I am attending mobile. Sir, how it is actually the attendance is considered, sir?
See, Google Meet has a feature. It automatically, every time you come in and every time you leave, that session is, that time it's calculated. The time is calculated and it's stored. So we have an Excel sheet when every day everyone has come and when everyone has left. That, yeah. So in any case, if you have some connectivity issue, that is the only reason why some people may be excused on one day. Maybe they had connectivity issues. So that is acceptable. Rest, everybody who comes has to have that necessary slot, like 1 hour. The difference of time he has joined and the difference of time from the time he has left. That should be that amount of time for the session allotted. It's simple as that. Like the person जो जब आया और कब निकला वो हमारे पास हमेशा रिकॉर्ड होता रहता है. वो भी एक बार ही नहीं, हर बार ही जब इंसान कोई आता है he joins तो उसका टाइम रिकॉर्ड हो जाता है, and whenever that person leaves तो वो that time is also recorded. So we always see कोई बंदा है जो आया ही नहीं है तो we automatically get that notification.
ओके ओके सर, एक मेरा एक सेशन मिस हो गया था सर, उसका क्या है सर, उसका कैसे?
See, one session might not be a problem. Overall, you have to maintain attendance, and if that session was important, you will find it on YouTube also.
Yes sir, yes sir. Okay. Okay sir,
Sir,
thank you
please
much sir.
continue. Sir, please continue. Satish sir,
हाँ जी, ओके ओके.
please continue, sir.
Hello, Majid sir. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Majid sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, can you please share this lectures video recording for the last week?
Yeah. I have been uploading. I had some personal issues. My uncle had passed away, so I was not able to upload. So I'll be uploading back. In fact, today only I
Sir,
uploaded.
internet connectivity is a major problem in our area. So please.
Yeah, no issues. Those videos will be ultimately part of YouTube playlist. I'll share the playlist link also. Soon, every video will be uploaded, inshallah.
Satish sir, good morning.
Yeah. Anyone asking to me or sir?
हाँ जी, गुड मॉर्निंग.
Yeah.
स्लाइड विजिबल है सर?
Please continue. Please continue with the PPT, sir.
स्लाइड विजिबल है?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes
okay.
sir, visible.
Now we will discuss. Anil, दरवाजा बंद कर दे. We discuss about the remaining biotic stresses on the mushroom. That is the fungal disease, bacterial disease, viral disease, and we are not covering these abiotic disorders, but only biotic disorders. Now, generally during the different phases of this mushroom cultivation, then you will face these competitor molds, then diseases that may be fungal disease, bacterial disease, viral disease. And as far as competitor molds are concerned, generally we encounter this green mold, false truffle, olive green mold, brown plaster mold, yellow mold, white plaster mold, ink caps, lipstick mold, smoky mold, black compost, cinnamon mold, and oidiosephalum mold. These are some of the competitors which compete with the mushroom for nutrition, water, space, and like that. Now, as far as general distribution of these competitor epithelial fungi is concerned, in case of compost, generally we observe these molds in compost. That is olive green mold, Pitomium species, ink caps, Coprinus species, green mold, Aspergillus penicillium, Trichoderma, then black mold, Mucor rhizopus, Cepedonium, Fusarium, Cephalosporium, and Papillospora. These competitor molds are observed in the compost only. And these are some of molds which are distributed in compost as well as on the casing soil. That is white plaster mold, Sclerosis funicola, then brown plaster mold, Papillospora bicina, then lipstick mold, Purulema perpendicensis, then false truffle, Deliomyces, Mycosporus, and green molds. Generally, they are distributed in compost as well as on the casing soil. Then these molds are generally observed on casing soil as well as on growing mushroom. Now, the first one is cinnamon mold. This is Pezza oscoderma. Then wet bubble, Mycobon pernicious, dry bubble caused by Verticillium pungicola, cob bag caused by Cleidobacterium dendroides, then pink mold, Trichothecium roseum, and green molds, generally observed on casing soil as well as on the growing mushroom fruit bodies. Now, as far as fungal diseases are concerned, first one is wet bubble caused by Mycobon pernicious, then dry bubble Verticillium pungicola, cob bag Bacterium dendroides, then green molds or blotch that caused by trichoderma species, and false truffle. Now coming to this first disease, that is dry bubble disease caused by Verticillium fungicola. Now these are some of the symptoms of this disease. Whitish mycelium growth on the casing soil. One can observe the mycelium growth on the casing soil. Then early stage infection results in typical onion-shaped mushrooms. If infection is at earlier stage, then one can observe the typical onion-shaped mushroom. And infection at later stages result in crooked and deformed mushrooms. And infection or part of AKF resulting in hair leaf symptoms. And sometimes one can observe gray moldy fuzz on the mushroom. And sometimes there may be localized brown depressed spores or brown blotches. These are some of the symptoms of this pathogen. Here you can see the brown localized lesion on the fruit body. This is caused by Verticillium fungicola. These are another symptom. Here you can see the stipe is deformed because there will be normal growth on one side of the stipe, but growth will be arrested on the other side. Therefore, this type of symptom can be observed. This is the browning of the fruit bodies by this Verticillium fungicola. Now, as far as epidemiology is concerned, this disease is carried on to the mushroom farms by infected casing soil. That means it is soil-borne disease. Then cereid and forage flies also transmit these diseases. Now, pathogen perpetuates through resting mycelium in the cropping rooms. Now, optimum temperature for disease outbreak or development is 20 degrees centigrade. High RH, lack of air circulation, and temperature above 16 degrees C favors development and spread of this disease. And the period from infection to symptom expression is 10 days for distortion symptom and 3 to 4 days for cave spotting. This is the epidemiology of this disease. Now, as far as management is concerned, physical methods generally we employ. Use of properly sterilized casing soil is very important. Proper hygiene and sanitation in and around the mushroom houses is very important. Proper disposal of spent compost. Anil. हाँ है, फ्री है क्या अभी? मेरी नहीं है यार, आप आ जाओ फिर इधर टीटीसी में। हाँ, मैं चला रखा हूँ ना, आ जाओ, इसी से चला कंटिन्यू होगा। ठीक ठीक ठीक। Well, friends, within 5 minutes, my colleague Dr. Anil will join, and he will be carrying further lectures on this disease because he is working exclusively on this mushroom disease. Earlier I was working, now he has joined last year this directorate, and now actually he is handling the disease portion in every training sessions. He will be joining soon. मेरे कहने का मतलब यह है कि वो आपको और इन डेप्थ नॉलेज दे सकता है।
सर जब तक डॉक्टर अनिल नहीं आते हैं तब तक कुछ पूछ सकते हैं सर?
हाँ जी बिल्कुल पूछ सकते हैं।
सर हमने वो जो हर्बीवोरस और कार्निवोरस फ्लाइज के बारे में पूछा था सर। एक्चुअली हमने इसलिए पूछा था क्योंकि जो ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग होता है तो उसमें जो एक एस्पेक्ट है कि जो हम अपने फार्म पर जो हर्बीवोरस जो फ्लाइज होते हैं, इंसेक्ट्स होते हैं, वो हमारे वेजिटेबल या फ्रूट्स को खाते हैं। तो जो
बिल्कुल मैं
कार्निवोरस फ्लाइज को जो या इंसेक्ट्स को छोड़ा जाता है उनके कल्चर को, तो वो उस हार्बीवोरस फ्लाइज को खाते हैं, तो इससे क्या होता है कि वो कंट्रोल होता है। तो क्या मशरूम में ऐसा कोई एस्पेक्ट इन फ्यूचर आप देख रहे हैं सर?
नहीं है एक्चुअल में जो हार्बीवोरस और कार्निवोरस वर्ड यूज कर रहे हैं आप, एनिमल किंगडम में यूज होता है। जैसे शेर है, टाइगर है, वो कार्निवोरस है, और गाय है हार्बीवोरस है। इसी में ये अपना समझ लगाए। ओके, Dr. Anil has joined. Now he will be carrying the further lecture. ये मेरा वर्कमेंट गाइड आपने ना जब लेक्चर खत्म होगा तो ये मेरे ईमेल आईडी से अच्छा ये लोग Dr. Anil will now carry the further session. Thank you very much. Slide visible है सर? हेलो, स्लाइड विजिबल है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, dear participants, once again I welcome you. I am Dr. Anil. I will be talking on biotic and biotic stasis in mushrooms, or different diseases of biotic stasis. So, I will be talking on different diseases, diagnosis, and you will like this lecture. So already you have studied about the production scenario of different mushroom crops in India and all over the world. And now I think it is clear that the most important crop and or the major crop, mushroom crop among all the mushroom crops, is your button mushroom, which is contributing maximum in our total mushroom production. More than 70% is coming from your white button mushroom, and then your oyster mushroom, then paddy straw mushroom, and then your milky mushroom, and the other share is coming from your specialty mushroom. So I will not be talking much about this production aspect. And just in brief, still a lot of opportunities are there. Still in India, there is a huge scope for mushroom cultivation because India is still not in the list of top 10 top mushroom producer of the world. So still a lot of opportunities are there. We can contribute a lot in that direction. So when we talk about stresses, or especially the biotic stresses, or most of the time, because irreversible change which cannot be corrected. And as we all know that mushroom are very sensitive crop and very delicate crop. Even a small blemishes, because of small blemishes, even our produce or mushroom, they become unmarketable. And among those cases or biotic factors, fungal diseases are of economic importance, and they cause substantial economic losses in mushroom production. And beside this, we have to be very particular. We should also know about different flies, mushroom flies, because they act as important carrier for a number of diseases. And when unfavorable conditions are there, unfavorable climate is there in our mushroom growing facilities, certainly our crop will be damaged by a number of stresses and diseases. Type of stresses, I hope you have already studied about this thing. In running, in short, different type of, we categorize different stresses in two categories, biotic and abiotic. So in this lecture, we will be talking on the biotic stresses, like the fungi, bacteria, virus, and the insect vectors. And Biotic stresses are also there, which mainly include your temperature, moisture, light, UV light, and your carbon dioxide concentration. All these factors are equally important because if fluctuation is there in biotic stresses, certainly that type of conditions uh, will favor the development of different biotic stresses like fungi, bacteria, and virus. Critical stages of mushroom cultivation, we have to be very particular, and we should know about all the that cultivation practices of different mushroom crops, and which we the mushroom crop which we are cultivating in our mushroom facilities. If we talk about our major mushroom crop, that is your button mushroom, then certainly this compost pasteurization, inoculation, spawn run, casing, pinning, fruiting, like all these stages are very important. We can call all these stages as critical stages of mushroom cultivation. So we should know the significance of these all stages in mushroom cultivation. And when we talk about pathogen or the disease causing agents, pet bubble disease caused by Mycobacterium perniciosa, dry bubble disease caused by Verticillium, Lisanicillin fungicola, then your green mold, Trichoderma green mold, cobweb disease, Cladobacterium. All these pathogen diseases, they are very important and they can cause huge losses in mushroom cultivation. So in the coming slide, we'll be talking about all these pathogens. So how the pathogen they interact with different mushroom hosts. So there are some mechanisms like your mycoparasitism, antivisis, competition, and direct infection as in case of your vectors. Through mycoparasitism, one fungus is killing another fungus, that is your mycoparasitism. And through antivisis, some microorganism, they produce antibiotic, and because of the action of that antibiotic, your host or mushroom host is killed by that organism. And through competition also, there are certain microbes, molds, fungi are there, which compete with our mushroom crop for space and nutrition. So through competition also, our microbes, they can kill our mushroom crops. So direct infestation, like your flies, and they play a role as a vector to carry disease from one place to another. And there are such a number of different pathways. We will not be talking about those in this lecture. What this slide is very important as far as mushroom growers are concerned. Diseases and competitive mold. You can see in the slide that diseases, they are categorized into three categories, major categories: fungal, bacterial, and viral. Among fungal, like your wet bubble, dry bubble, cobweb, green mold, and green mold. And in case of bacterial diseases, your bacterial blotch, ginger blotch, mummy disease, bacterial pit, and drippy gills. They are included under the category of bacterial diseases. And viral diseases. No doubt, on very rare occasion, we get the attack of or infection of viral diseases under mushroom cultivation. And for your knowledge only, this mushroom virus X, premature veil opening, brown mushrooms, all these type of these viral diseases, they also exist in nature. However, in India, on a very few occasions, we get the attack of viral disease in our mushroom house. Beside this, there is a long list of competitive molds which compete with the our different mushroom crops for space and nutrition, like in Falstafel, yellow mold, brown cluster mold, cap, leaf mold, etc. etc. We will be talking about all these diseases and competitive mold in the coming slides. So let's start with the most important disease and the worldwide problem of butter, especially in case of button mushroom, that is your wet bubble disease. It is caused by fungus Mycobacterium perniciosa, and the major host for wet bubble disease is your button mushroom. And if we talk about important diseases which are produced by wet bubble disease on white button mushroom, then you can see in the slide that there is a formation of scleroderma myces, or when the infection of wet bubble disease is there in our mushroom house, then our food body food body, they do not differentiate into the characteristic part like your head, pilus type, like the or means your the infected food body, it will become that callus type of formation will be there, just like laddu or the like ball type of formation will be there. Under severe condition, some dark brown color droplets, they will also emerge from the infected food body, and because of this nature of this nature of symptom of wet bubble disease. It is known as wet bubble disease, and in Hindi it is also known as Gilla Babula disease. And in the area like Haryana, and where the button mushroom is very popular, there it is known as laddu. This is one sweet. So because of that safe and form of the symptom of wet bubble disease, it is known as a laddu disease or wet bubble disease. Under severe cases, crack formation may also be there on the food body, and then huge correlation will be there. You can see the type of spore of wet bubble disease fungus, and these spore through different mode of spread, like your physical mode or by air or water. They can enter in your mushroom house, and they can cause infection. And the cycle of wet bubble disease, it will be continue like this. And for the management, we can take the idea that how you can keep this disease away from your mushroom house. And in coming slide also I will be discussing about that. And what are the congenial environment for the wet bubble disease development? High humidity, acidic pH in casing soil. Casing soil is the most important source of inoculum for wet bubble disease. If you have clear-cut idea about the preparation, about the pasteurization of this casing soil, and if you have good formulation of casing soil, then I think it will be you can easily keep away this disease from your food bodies. So in the coming slides, I will be telling you about different options of disease management, or as far as the wet bubble disease is concerned in the management part. So before that, one more important disease, fungal disease, that is your dry bubble disease, which is caused by fungus Listeria fungicola. Here you can see that what type of symptoms are produced by this disease on the mature food body of your white button mushroom. You can see here dark brown color spots, sunken lesion, right? So this is the most common symptom of a dry bubble infection. And under severe cases, this type of cracks, this type of symptom, dark brown color spots, you can also see on the stipe surface. And later, in the later stages, cracks, they can appear on the stipe, and some peel off may be there on the stipe portion. So these type of these are the common symptom of dry bubble disease. And on the rare cases, some pimple type of formation may also be there on the pilar surface. So, but that is not very much common. And the most the congenial environment and the predisposing factor for the development of dry bubble disease is the unscheduled irrigation. Suppose a long dry spell is there, and after that, if you are going for irrigation, then that type of sock, it will promote the activities of Listeria fungicola, and you will be seeing the symptom of dry bubble disease on the pores. So unscheduled irrigation, dry spell, acidic condition, like these type of things they are favorable for the development of dry bubble disease. And third most important disease is your Cladiobotrys fungus, which cause cobweb disease in your button mushroom, oyster mushroom, and milky mushroom. So this pathogen has a broad host range. It can cause infection in number of mushroom crops. And as far as the symptom of cobweb disease is concerned, you can see here in the picture, you can see button mushroom and oyster mushroom. In case of button mushroom, when we put the casing layer on the fully colonized substrate, then what happens after 2-3 days, you can see some thin mycelium or white color mycelium patches may appear on the casing surface. So that off white color thin mycelium, that belongs to your Cladiobotrys, that is mycelium of Cladiobotrys. When you will start cultivation of button mushroom, then I think you will be very much clear about the color, shape, growth habit of white button mushroom. So from that point, you will be able to differentiate between cobweb disease fungus and your Agaricus bisporus fungus and mycelium of other mushroom crops. And when this type of symptom, and you will see this type of symptom on the casing surface, later on, you know what happened, when the mushroom food body formation will be there on the casing surface, then because of the activity of Cladiobatrium fungus, some rotting spot or patches, they can appear on the stipe surface of your food body. And later on, what happened, if we are not giving any treatment to cure this disease, cure your food bodies from cobweb disease, then what happened at the later stages, those spore formation will be there, and your that infected host, that will turn from white color to a pinkish color pigmentation will be there on the host. And if even at this stage, if we are not worrying about the management of this disease, later on, when those spore of cobweb disease, when they will transfer, when they will disseminate by different mode of transmission from one place to another, and when they spore, they will land on the surface of food body or on cap, then there will be cap spotting will be there. So this type of, there is a sequence of symptom development. And as far as the management of cobweb disease is concerned, whether it is in case of your oyster mushroom or in case of button mushroom, then you have to identify the cobweb disease pathogen as early as possible. And if we talk about congenial environment or for the development of cobweb disease, is a high humidity and acidic condition. And most importantly, which I would like to tell you, that this fungus is very sensitive for the low level of humidity, and it spread at very faster rate at high humidity level, like more than 90% relative humidity. So if very humid or misty type of atmosphere is there prevailing in your mushroom house condition, then certainly you have to reduce the level of humidity to the optimum level, that is your 80-85%, or you can reduce below that for some time, because when your that cobweb disease, when the disease is at your initial stage, like as earlier I told, that it will appear first like very all white thin mycelium of cobweb disease will be there on the casing surface. So at that time, you have to take necessary step for the management of this. And if you're reducing the level of humidity, suppose if you're introducing fresh air, you are circulating the air, and you are reducing the humidity below even 80 for few hours, for example. So that type of condition, it will kill all the mycelium of Cladiobatrium, and it will help you people in managing cobweb disease without using any chemical, any other option of disease management in the mushroom crop. So you have to be very particular. In oyster also you can see, so the mycelium of cobweb disease, it can be seen on the substrate, or it can also be seen in the bunches of your oyster mushrooms. So like that, I told you the different type of symptoms, different stages, and I told that how sensitive this Cladiobatrium is for the low level of humidity. So you kindly keep it in mind, and it will help you in the management of this cobweb disease. Now we will talk about in brief about the Trichoderma green mold. Trichoderma green mold, I think it would be better to tell you that Trichoderma is a well-known biocontrol agent in the agriculture. But in case of mushroom cultivation, this is a very severe mycoparasite, right? So in picture, you can see how the Trichoderma mycelium that interact with the mycelium of the Agaricus bisporus. When the mycelium of Trichoderma, it come in contact with the Agaricus bisporus mycelium, and the hyphal contact will be there. That Trichoderma mycelium, it will coil around the mycelium of Agaricus bisporus, and it will release, it will secrete some enzyme, and because of that activity, it will kill the mycelium of Agaricus bisporus. Most important thing, you have to check if this disease or this green mold fungus is appearing on the surface of casing soil or in the bag. You have to check the pH level in the casing soil. You have to 5 to 8. So that range is that range will not be tolerated by Trichoderma fungus, and it will be banished from your mushroom growing bag. So these are the common tricks. We have many more options of disease management. What are the different easy way to manage diseases? So you should know about that also. And competition like this thing, already this point has been discussed by me. And now we will be talking about some competitor modes, like your olive green mode. Right, this is a very important mode in case of white button mushroom cultivation, and Chytomium is associated fungus with the green olive green mold. And most important host for olive green mold is your button mushroom. So Chytomium, it will grow in the mushroom growing bag of button mushroom, and when it will occupy space, in the mushroom growing bag, there will be a formation of some means dark green color patches on the mushroom growing bag surface. And if you smell those bags, some odd smell will come out from those bags. And if you take the observation of those dark green color patches, certainly some granular masses, fungal masses will be there inside. If you see that spot from inside the bag, and this type of symptom, this Chytomium is purely related to your compost pasteurization process. Because if your compost is not properly pasteurized, then there will be a prominent chances of appearance of a Chytomium in the growing bag. So how means already in the production lecture you have studied different methods of compost preparation. There you might have studied about phase 1, phase 2, like that thing. So all those phases are very important, and you need to know that what is the significance of temperature profile in the compost preparation. Already you have been it has been told by the production scientists during the button mushroom cultivation lecture. So you should know about that. Only by proper pasteurization of compost you can eradicate Chytomium like mold from your compost. So this is important because it will appear at the earliest before when you will add spawn in the in your button mushroom compost. Then you keep those back in the room for the spawn run. During spawn run stage, you will be seeing all these type of symptoms of olive green mold. So compost preparation process is very important for the management and to avoid the appearance of Chytomium. False truffle is also important competitor mold in white button mushroom and in other edible fungi. Dhelomyces is the fungus which is associated with the false truffle, and the symptoms which are produced by false truffle, you can see some white and solid round irregular fungal masses on the casings. And above casing surface, you will be seeing small false truffle fruit bodies. And when you will remove this fruit body from the casing surface, below casing surface also the free fungal mass will be there. And for your information, it can also appear during the spawn stage. In the last two pictures, you can see here some yellowish type of wrinkled fungal masses are there in the spawn stage, during the spawn stage of button mushroom in the mushroom growing pads. So this is the advanced stage, and you really have to be particular when you see this type of fungal masses on the casing surface. Immediately you have to remove this, because for the newcomer it may be difficult to identify, to differentiate false truffle from the food bodies of thinning of your Agaricus bisporus. But when these they will get mature, it can be easily differentiated from Agaricus bisporus. What you have to, for the management, you have to remove it as early as possible before the spore formation in the fruit bodies. Otherwise, if you want to remove fruit body at this stage when sporulation is there, the Dhelomyces fruit bodies, then certainly these spores, they will spread in the other bags also. So you have to remove it when no sporulation is there. After removing, you can recover from here, the place from here you are removing the Dhelomyces fruit body. You need to cover that spot with the fresh casing soil, and you can also add little amount of your formalin like your 0.1%, only on that spot only. So by doing this type of things, you can eradicate the infection of False Staph from your bags. So I have told you different symptom and even management. I have talked about how this infection is coming in our mushroom house. There are two important things. In production lecture, your production scientists might have recommended you that you should prepare compost on the concrete surface. And suppose if you're not preparing compost on the concrete surface, and if you're preparing compost on the open field, then in the pile of your compost, the temperature will not be uniform. In the lower portion of pile, temperature will be very less, which will promote the germination of False Staph fungus. And when you will utilize that compost for spawning or mushroom production, certainly this type of food body or False Staph formation will be there. And even suppose if you are preparing mushroom on the concrete surface and somehow spore of False Staph or inoculum of this concrete mold is coming from outside, then what happens when your crop will be in the spawn stage, and somehow if the temperature of your growing facility, if going beyond 27 degrees Celsius, going 28, 30, 35 degrees Celsius, so that type of temperature condition, that will activate the spore of False Staph, and you will be seeing this type of food body, the corn fungal masses in your mushroom house. So you have to maintain the temperature as per the recommendation of production scientists in the mushroom house to avoid the activation of False Staph spores. Brown plaster mold is one more important competitive mold. You can see sometimes what happened during the spawn stage or even after adding the casing soil, some white color mycelial mat formation will be there, which later on it will turn into brown color. The color of that mat will turn into brownish color because of the fungal sporulation. So that is your brown plaster mold. And the reason for appearance of brown plaster mold is your high moisture content in the compost. And if you are compromising with the quantity of gypsum, even then that will also create some greasiness in the compost. So that type of high moisture and greasiness condition in the compost, they will invite the attack of brown plaster mold in the growing facility. So you have to be particular about this thing. Yellow mold is very important. Competitive molds as far as the plain area or high temperature areas are concerned, and button mushroom is important host for this competitive mold. And you can see the symptom which are produced by yellow mold competitive mold. You can see picky type of formation, like your aloo picky type of things will be there, and later on they will because of yellow color, a spore of yellow mold pathogen, Mycolophthora, it is known as a yellow mold. And the appearance or the reason for appearance of yellow mold is mainly because of that method of compost preparation. If you prepare the compost by using wrong method of composting, and if the quality of that compost is not up to the mark, is not good, then certainly these type of mold, they will start appearing in your mushroom growing facility. So it is advised just to shift from long method of composting to the short method of composting as early as possible, because short method of composting and indoor method of composting are the best method to prepare compost for button mushroom cultivation. So you can also see here how under severe cases, number of colonies, tickies are formed in the growing bags. So there will be a huge reduction in the button mushroom production. Yellow mold symptom more you can see in the slide also how this yellow mold pathogen, this competitive mold, is appearing in the mushroom house. Sapidonium is one more yellow color pathogen. It is also known as it also forms that type of picky type of colonies. However, the colonies of Sapidonium is spongy. It is different from your yellow mold Mycolophthora. That it's just like compressed that colonies are formed by the Mycolophthora fungus. So chicken chicken manure is mainly associated with the your that this sapidonium is associated with the chicken manure. When we add chicken manure as a source of nitrogen, then certainly chances will be there. Good chances will be there that sapidonium it may appear in the mushroom house. But if we prepare the compost by using short method and your indoor method, then during that process, the inoculum or the spore or mycelium or sapidonium fungus, which is already present in your chicken manure, that all that inoculum will be killed by the process of short method and your indoor method of composting. However, if you prepare compost by using the long method of composting, it is advisable. It is advised to people that you should not use chicken manure as a nitrogen source. You can use other alternative for nitrogen, that is your wheat bran and other material. Right. So this way you can manage this. Ink cap is one more important competitor mold, and we call it as a wheat mushroom. And you can see the attack of ink cap in button, oyster, milky. In case of pedistom mushroom also, you can see the attack of ink cap. And the formation of ink cap, appearance of ink cap, is correlated with the quantity or the content of nitrogen. If the nitrogen level is quite high, if you are using urea and other ammonia, this nitrogen-based fertilizer in very higher concentration, then certainly that there will be during even conditioning, there will be huge concentration of ammonia will be there in the compost, and high concentration of ammonia or even your moisture, they promote the appearance of ink cap in your mushroom growing facility. And you can see here how it look like. How does it look like? This long stipe fruit body and small cap. And if you press the cap of this coprinus or ink cap, then there will be oozing of liquid, and because of that liquid, it is known as a ink cap. So just by checking the concentration or keeping the optimum concentration of your nitrogen in the compost, and if you do the conditioning process in appropriate way, then you can remove the chances. You can avoid the chances of the appearance of ink cap computer mold in your mushroom house. Many other computer molds are there, lipstick mold, piazza mold. We will not be covering that, but we will talk about little bit about bacterial diseases. Bacterial diseases, among bacterial diseases, most common, most important, that is the Pseudomonas fowleri. The most important host is button mushroom. Besides this, it can also attack your oyster. It can also attack your shiitake, and even milky mushroom can also be attacked by Pseudomonas fowleri. And the symptom on the host, you can see yellowing of mushroom due to oozing, because bacteria always cause oozing. When any bacteria attack any host, they cause oozing. Some liquid will emerge from the infected area, and due to production of tolacine toxin of Pseudomonas fowleri, the color of infected host, you can see yellow color of a white button mushroom. This is because of the tolacine production in the mushroom. And in case of oyster mushroom, you can also see, we talk about Florida. Florida is of white color, and because of bacterial infection, you can see it will also turn into yellowish color or slimy. Sliminess of your course is also one of the important symptom of bacterial pathogen in your mushroom crops. High humidity in the growing facilities are important, or we can say the predisposing factor for your bacterial disease infection. And for the management, you can maintain the appropriate level of humidity in the growing facilities, and after giving irrigation to your bag and bed, then you have to circulate air in the mushroom growing facility so that you can dry the mushroom hose. So this way you can manage, and somehow if infection is happening, you can apply 1 gram per liter calcium chloride in your mushroom growing beds, and you can also apply the bleaching powder at 1 to 3 gram per liter of water. Bacterial diseases of spawn, we talk about spawn. Many diseases are there. Among those, bacterial diseases are very important. Sometimes, if you in your spawn bottles, what happens? Some liquid, a light green color liquid, can be seen in the spawn bottles. That is your bacteria. And sometimes, some sour smell also you can experience from your spawn bottle. So that type of symptom, they are related to a bacterial infection. For the management, you can check the quality of your wheat grains. You can check the quality of wheat grains. It should be of excellent quality. And suppose your wheat grains are not of good quality, you can treat them with the calcium chloride 1 gram per liter. You can treat it with 1 to 3 gram of calcium, bleaching powder, and after that you can wash those grains with the rainwater, and you can utilize those grains for further process of spawn preparation. So this is how we can prevent the infection of bacterial diseases. Viral diseases are also there, but we are lucky enough that in India, even 2-3 have experienced that where we have experienced the infection of mushroom virus. So we are lucky enough that we should know what are the different type of symptoms is produced by the viral symptom. Common symptom like your stunting of growth of food bodies, dwarfism will be there. Browning of food bodies. Suppose if they are growing the white color stain, they will turn into brown color. Leathery texture will be there. Our food bodies, they have very smooth texture or very delicate. Our food bodies are very delicate, but because of that virus infection, they may turn into the leathery texture. The texture, they may change into leathery texture. And early opening of pilus. Early opening of pilus will be there. Or tilting of pilus may be there in your swimming pool facility. So these type of symptoms are related to your virus infection. So if you see this type of symptom, then certainly you have to take advice from the expert. And what for the time being, you can keep that area, you can keep those bags in isolation, so that just to check the spread of viral diseases. And you have to check the source of that spawn also, from where you are purchasing your spawn. But also you need to check that also. So these type of symptoms, they are associated with the viral diseases. You can see here bare cropping area associated with the mushroom virus X. Premature bale opening, at the early stage, your pilus will leave the type, and it will lose the market value. And one more symptom, that is brown color mushrooms. Your white color food body, they will turn into a brown color. So color change is very common symptom of viral diseases. Malformation will be there, and the brown color stains, they are comparatively they are resistant as compared to your white color stain. And that already we have studied. Already in the previous lecture, we have studied that what are the different insects. So among different insects column, your flies, 2 flies are there, and your associated these insects, fintail, mite, all these they also act as a vector to transmit disease from one place to another. So already you have studied, and I think the management already Dr. Saab has told you how we can manage the different insects. So we will not be talking about, we will not touch different disorders even. And when we talk about mushroom cultivation, certainly you have to think, that is the most important thing. The most at the initial stage, you have to, strain selection should be proper. Because strain is resistant, that strain can acclimatize with it, can grow freely under adverse climatic condition, and that strain can survive in the nature. But if a strain is susceptible, that strain will be killed, destroyed by the biotic stresses, and ultimately there will be substantial loss you have to face. Avoidance, this is also one of the factors your strain. So if your strain have the capacity, strains have the capacity to avoid the attack of different pathogens and vectors. So that type of strain, they can also survive in the nature. So you have to be very particular about the strain selection. And as far as the management is concerned, for the effective management of different diseases and biotic stresses, you have to be very particular. You have to go for very effective planning. And in India, we have very small list of plant protection product which can be utilized for the management of different mushroom diseases. And while we think about management of the different mushroom diseases, then we have to go for the integrated approach. Here you can see that we have a very short we have a very short list of different plant, different pesticides which are being used under mushroom cultivation. And recently in 2018, thioprid, methyl, and this carbendazim, they have been banned in India. Now we have the chlorothalonil and imazaline, sodium chloride. These can be utilized for the management of mushroom diseases. Source of inoculum already have discussed. When I talk about the major diseases of mushroom, source of inoculum is very important. The source of inoculum means the place from where the seeds of different pathogen disease-causing agent is coming to your mushroom house. So spent mushroom substrate is important one. Your substrate which you people are using for preparation of the compost for different mushroom crops, that is also important. Your farmyard manure, like your casing they require it like that. They can also have a number of different microparasites. Infected food body, you have to maintain hygiene condition around your mushroom house, and you should not throw the infected body anywhere in the near or in the near to your growing facilities. And if you throw the infected food body anywhere in your mushroom house, then when you will harvest the roof water of your mushroom house or from the surrounding of your mushroom house, that water they will carry that will carry different spore or different pathogens to the with the flow of water, and all those flow they will be collected in the that water harvesting tank, and then you will utilize that water for irrigation. That will contaminate your mushroom house, and your this flies and mite, they can also transmit diseases from one place to another. And if unhygienic conditions are there, the air which is there near to or inside your mushroom house, if that air is contaminated, and when you will introduce that air in your mushroom house for just to meet out the demand of your mushroom crops, then that air that can also act as a that will transmit the disease spore from one place to another. And pick the hand. You have to start harvesting the monitoring from the healthy room. You should not start that monitoring from that old room, because chances of infection will be more in your older rooms as compared to your new room. So it would be better to start your monitoring harvesting from your that healthy room or new area. And you should be very particular that that harvester, your workers, they should know this type of thing, that how diseases can transmit from one place to another by the movement of worker. And casing soil is the most important ingredient as far as the mushroom cultivation is concerned, and as far as the diseases are concerned also. So you should be very particular about the composition and pasteurization of casing soil. And as far as management on the different diseases are concerned, you should follow the good agriculture practices, scheduled irrigation, quality compost, casing soil, all these means parameters, these things have been discussed by the scientists in the production lecture. For the highly contagious diseases like your pet bubble disease, spot treatment with common salt. Suppose at the initial stage, 2-3 food bodies are appearing in the mushroom house, then you have to wear gloves and you have to remove those infected food body from your mushroom house, and there only from where you are removing the food body, you need to add some pinches of common salt just to kill that microbial pernicious in your growing bag or beds. But you have to be very particular. Don't add this common salt on the healthy area. Otherwise, it will kill both disease and your agaricus pyosporus mycelium also. Casing soil. Already, I have told that it is very important. We need to worry about that porosity, water holding capacity, pH range in casing soil. That will help in the management of diseases. Protective cultivation of commercial formulation of alkaligen based, bacillus based. There are a number of commercial formulations are available in the market. You can utilize that for the management of mushroom diseases to enhance the yield of mushroom crops. Botanical pesticides are also available, like with trouble doryxium. You can utilize these botanical pesticide in the casing soil. What you have to do preventively, and you can utilize this from 1 to 3, 0.1 to 3% concentration. And you can, if you use a fly trap in your growing facility, that will help you in the management of different vectors or diseases. Insect proofing of the growing facility is very important. Already, I think in the previous lecture, Dr. Spies has told you how we can go for insect proofing and application of suitable insecticide. We do not recommend application of any pesticide, direct application of any pesticide in the mushroom cultivation. So you have to go preventively. You can utilize the pesticide on the walls and you can take advice from the expert. Fumigation of growing room, dwelling type is very important, especially at the time of crop termination. You can treat your room by using 2% formalin, and you can opt the option of post-crop cookout, which will help you in the management of or making your growing facility disease-free. You can increase the temperature above 70 degrees Celsius to 8 hours and 6 to 8 hours, and that practice they will means that will help you in killing all the spore of the mycoparasites in the mushroom house. Strictly hygienic conditions you have to maintain in and around growing facility. That is very important for disease management. Now I am going to summarize my presentation. Problem diagnosis is very important. You have to you can play important role just to apprise your problem to the expert at the early stage. That will help us in identifying the problem to find out the solution for that. Collection, identification, documentation can also play a role in that aspect also. And already I have told that we have very less number of plant production products, so we have to be very particular about the variety resistance. Already I have told you should use the resistant strains which have the capacity to tolerate the pressure of different diseases, and you can opt the approach of integrated disease management. And you can update yourself. You can join the face-to-face meeting, and different type of platforms are there. From there, you can acquire the knowledge of mushroom cultivation. So you should take that type of opportunity to enhance your knowledge about mushroom cultivation. And you have to create the mushroom growing the facility as per the requirement of your mushroom crop, which are you are growing, which you are interested to grow in your mushroom growing facilities. Time to time revision of your knowledge. You need to update yourself by attending different training programs. So I think now I have told you many things. I have told you different diseases, their diagnosis, their management, many things I think I have told you from my side. And a number of things are there, number of diseases are there associated with different conditions and different composition of your compost, your casing soil, like that. And beside my lecture, I just tell you that please don't confuse yourself. All these diseases, all these problems, they will not appear in your mushroom house at one time. What? They will be as your teacher. They will appear when you will do any mistake, when you will commit any error during the process of mushroom cultivation. So I think with these words, now I am going to put full stop in my presentation. And thank you so much for your patient hearing. And now I invite all of you, if you have any query, then you can ask me. You can I will take 1 or 2, 3 questions, and rest I think we will be covering in the later session. It will be there. And so now I request you, please, you can ask your queries if you are having. And
गुड आफ्टरनून सर.
यस
सर मैं सुनीत तालुकदार बोल रहा हूँ गुवाहाटी से.
जी.
Sir, like I have some very few queries. Sir, ये जो moles and pests के बारे में आपने बोले आपने और डॉक्टर सतीश ने जो बोले, like those are specifically substrate specific and mushroom specific, या ये कोई भी अलग-अलग substrate में भी हो सकता है? So apart from green mold, I mean we know green mold has a tendency, but
yes. I have told you this major pathogen, different competitor molds are also. And if we talk in general, then the most of the pathogen they have good host cells, right? What if we talk about like your bed bubble disease? That disease is very severe, particularly very severe in case of your button mushroom. Maybe other diseases, they are not of that much importance. But all these pathogens, they have they are not crop. You can say to some extent like your bed bubble disease or mycobacterium perniciosa, maybe specific to some extent with the specific to the button mushroom, but they can infect other mushrooms also on on some, we can say on some rare occasion they can attack other mushroom crops also. I hope I think my point I think it is
Yes.
it is clear to
Yes.
you.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. And
Yes.
so during this presentation, you also said like suppose like if the spawn quality, like the grains quality is not good, then we can it's better we should clean it with bleaching powder.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly. You have to do. Otherwise, yes. Uh, I think your question is complete, na? You want to say more?
It's a
Question is
little bit, yeah. It's a little bit. First of all, like if it is we like if we mix the bleaching powder, like any specific ratio, like this much in what quantity water, what should be the bleaching powder quantity, and how much quantity of grain should be immersed. And
yes. Just you have to you require that much amount of solution of bleaching powder of calcium chloride, which is sufficient just to you have to give just that preliminary washing to your wheat grain, right. So after this doing that, again you have to go for washing of grain by using the plain water.
yes,
So
sir.
just you have to rinse. You have to rinse the grains with that solution, and for some time you need to wash. Just you have to give, because the spore or the endospore of your that bacteria, bacillus is the most important contaminant in the spawn as far as the bacterial diseases are concerned, right? So the endospore of bacillus, they will they will be there on the surface of your wheat grain, right? So during the dormant stage of endospore of bacillus, sometimes they bypass even that process of autoclaving. Even they will be still even there even after autoclaving, right? So it would be better. I have told you that 2-3 options I told for the management of a bacterial infection in the during the process of spawn preparation. One is your the treatment with the calcium chloride, 1 gram per liter of water, and another is your 1 to 3 gram bleaching powder, right? And if you don't have these two options, what you can do, you can give some that soaking period to your wheat grain. You have wheat grain, then you can add those wheat grain in free water for 6 to 8 hours, right? So when you will give that free moisture, free water condition to your grain, and suppose that those spores, those seed are carrying the endospore of bacillus, they will get activated, right? So when you will utilize those grain with activated spore of bacillus, so during the process of boiling and your autoclaving, those activated spore will be easily killed. Otherwise, if you will not give any soaking period to grain, even chances will be there that they will be there even after boiling in that process. So this is the main reason actually for appearance of bacillus infection in during the spawn bottles and in the commercial spawn packets.
Okay. So, sir, this process which you mentioned, it applies.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
So, sir,
yes.
this process which you mentioned, that applies for all particular grains. I mean, like, sir, in our place, paddy is quite common. Wheat is not that easily available, and it's costly also. So, extensively, paddy is used as a spawn for spawn purpose.
Okay, in case of paddy straw, paddy straw.
Mr. Not paddy straw. I mean, like the paddy is a rice, that rice part I'm saying. Grains.
Yes. So for paddy straw, no problem. You can skip this type of practices for while preparing spawn for paddy straw mushroom. So you can skip, because that paddy straw has many qualities. It has many qualities. Even antifungal, antibacterial properties are also carried by your paddy straw, right?
Okay.
It has both. So that is additional advantage of using paddy straw.
Okay, sir.
Any another
And
question? Any another question?
sir,
Can you?
one thing related with spawn only. Sir, like this bleaching powder thing or the other two option which you stated, you said like if the quality is not good, then only it's necessary to we
Yes,
give that
yes, yes.
treatment. So, sir, like normally we know that while preparing spawn, it's always said that better to avoid using cracked corn or any sort of cracked grains.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes, exactly.
so like suppose I'm like procuring the grains in bulk quantity, and there are like few. I mean, I'm not saying that 100% is cracked, but like 10 to 15% is cracked. So then can I, if I go for this soaking process, like 6 to 8 hours, or the bleaching powder process, will
So if you're seeing that the quality of grains is perfect, so
yeah.
just to means go for means that preventive. If you want to go preventively, or
Mhm.
if you're thinking that I have to put check, there should be no infection of bacteria. So you can give wash with the no problem will be there, not at all. And if some because always on that some cracked or some that blemish grain, they will always be there in that a whole lot of your wheat grain. So not like that, and bacterial infection it will not always be there. So this way you can also you can go for that preventive method also. You can utilize that you can utilize these ingredients for that preventive management of bacterial diseases. Otherwise, no need means every time no need to use. If you think that no blemishes are there in wheat grain, all grains are is perfect. So you can then you can adhere to your that auto cleaning process. You can adhere to your auto cleaning process. It should be your autoclave. It should be well calibrated, and whatever data you are feeding in your autoclave, just like for example for temperature and pressure, it should be like that inside also in your instrument. So that type of things you have to you have to take care. So otherwise, any question? Any question
Sir,
from
no,
other participants?
sir, no
Hello,
more.
sir.
Sir,
Yes.
thanks for answering all my
Thank
queries.
you. Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I have three queries. फर्स्ट वन इज सर जो मशरूम जो है वो बंचिंग में निकलने लगते हैं, इसका क्या रीजन है एंड मैनेजमेंट?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think that bunching, na,
Yes.
as far as my subject is concerned, like as a pathologist, if you ask me in that aspect, then bunches generally we correlate it with that growing conditions only, like bunches appearance or the disorder type of things we generally we correlate. And I hope that in production lecture also this type of that queries, I think it will also be there. And you might have asked Dr. Swet also, who is dealing with this pattern mushroom, that improvement and cultivation. So it would be
Okay,
better,
sir.
I think, and for us actually we correlated with the conditions only, especially the casing soil condition we correlated with.
Okay, sir. Sir, what is the management
And
of beetle in oyster mushroom?
one more thing, we also correlated with that your when you introduce that fresh air and other thing, the procedure of giving fresh air after that complete case run, that type of that at what time you're reducing the carbon dioxide concentration, what time you are reducing that level of temperature in the growing facility. So all those parameters we generally be correlated with the bunch formation of your flowers, especially in case of your butter mushroom. And now second question on
Sir, beetle management in oyster mushroom.
for diseases.
Yes, yes.
But in oyster mushroom, generally we experience two common contaminants. One is your green mold, and another one is your that Cladobotrium or cobweb disease. So two things are there very important. And if you if you know how to prepare that substrate, how means if you have clear cut idea about the preparation of substrate preparation of oyster mushroom, because why I'm telling this, because if the temperature is remaining in the acidic range, so generally that will promote the attack of this complete mold and diseases. Acidic condition should not be there in the in your substrate. And before that, one more thing, the spawn which you are using, it should not like that your spawn should not carry the infection of green mold, right? Because many times it may happen that during spawn preparation, that infection of trichoderma green mold may be there. So you have to be very particular about the quality of a spawn also. And for the management of your this COBAB, because in oyster mushroom, timely that you have to introduce the fresh air, you have to create that aerated condition just to have the good quality of food bodies. But if you are not introducing that fresh air well in time, so that type of a condition, they will also promote the attack of your Cladobotrium or COBAB disease. I told that it is very sensitive for the low level of humidity. So by keeping in view the health of oyster mushroom and that and appearance of COBAB disease in oyster mushroom room, so you can this way, by keeping these factor in mind, you can manage both these diseases. Otherwise, what you can do, especially in case of trichoderma green mold, what you can do, even when your crop is in that fruiting stage, even when that flush break will be there, you can give some dusting of your chuna, that calcium carbonate, so that you can prevent that infection of a green mold type of thing. You can give this type of treatment for shiitake also, for oyster also, and for other mushrooms also. In case of button mushroom, you can so that button mushroom, that query, I think you have the query with the oyster mushroom only, na? So these two things are there with the oyster mushroom.
सर लास्ट क्वेश्चन इज, जब बटन मशरूम को मैं प्लग की तो विद इन हाफ एन आवर वो येलो हो गया, ऐसा क्यों?
बटन मशरूम के केस में
यस यस
yellowing is that type of thing is purely associated with your Pseudomonas stolesi or bacterial infection. You can give some treatment of calcium chloride and your bleaching powder. Even the pre-harvest application, you can also go for that also, especially with your calcium chloride. It will make your mushroom fruit body free from a bacterial infection, and it will also make them more white as compared to your treated one. And it will also help in increasing the post-harvest life of fruit bodies. So this way you can manage. Any now I think I will take, already it's 1:15 or like that. So if you have any one or two or some.
Sir, I think we have gone way past over our scheduled time, sir. We have another meeting coming also. People would have to take lunch also.
Okay.
So in the interest of the fairness and limited amount of time we were supposed to be delivering in, sir, on behalf of the participants and on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to extend our gratitude to you. Thank you for being with us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, guys. Let's join back at 2:30. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Myself, Satyajit Mahapatra from Deoghar, Jharkhand, sir. We have talked a lot of